One of Nintendo's most beloved series is Star Fox. Originally a tech demo game on the Super Nintendo, Star Fox exploded in popularity with the superb Star Fox 64 on the Nintendo 64. Star Fox 64, combined with Fox and Falco's popularity in the Super Smash Bros. Games, solidified Star Fox as one of the premier Nintendo franchises. Unfortunately though, this status was short-lived as the series went from developer to developer, from genre to genre, never finding its own footing. The series seemingly died with the mixed reception to Star Fox Command on the DS. Other than a remake of Star Fox 64 on the 3DS, the series seemed dead for a while. That was until Star Fox Zero was announced for the Wii U, and it seemed like the match made in heaven. A new Star Fox game developed by Platinum? This shit's gonna be so fire! And it totally was, and this game got critically panned across the board, and it even appeared in a few worst of 2016 lists. I personally played the game at launch, beat it, and thought it was alright. I was going to review it at the time as my first introduction to this wacky world of YouTube, but I didn't have time for it at the time. It turns out graduating college is kind of a big thing. So think of this as my redemption as we ask the question, does Star Fox Zero suck? I think it's very timely with the new rumor of a new Star Fox game coming to the Switch, so let's check this game out and see if it was bad as people remember. Let's hit the skies. In space, no one can hear you yiff. If there's one thing Nintendo and Platinum know how to do, it's make a good looking game. Star Fox Zero looks fantastic. The spaceships look cool, and the blasts and the explosions are all satisfying to look at. Keeping that in mind, there are a lot of baddies to blow up in a variety of environments, from the oceans of Corneria to abandoned space donuts, snow planets. The game keeps things fresh. Even in the void of space, Star Fox keep busy with battles happening all around him. This is war after all, and Fox's battles are only a portion of what's going down. You got the classic Star Fox squad of Fox, a less asshole-ish Falco, Old Mang Peppy, and Slippy, who is nowhere near as annoying as he was in 64. The rival Starwolf gang is here to mess things up, and even Cat comes in to tease Fox and the furries in the audience. Plot-wise, there isn't much anything new here going on. It's just the basic furries are killing other furries, so you must stop the bad furries, grrr, plot we all know and love. It is interesting that, in the Star Fox universe, monkeys and canines are rivals instead of dogs and cats. Japanese mythology has monkeys being our canine companion's rival, so there's some culture for you. Annoyingly, in gameplay, the voices come from the gamepad rather than the TV. It's a shame as the voice acting is so much better than the previous Star Fox games. Granted, the bar was really low, but... Another thing I gotta give Star Fox Zero credit for is rewarding the player and challenging them to come back for more. There are multiple medals to get in each stage, and multiple routes to get to the ending to discover. Taking a different path might lead to a different boss, taking out that boss might lead to a new set of levels. Devoted players will have fun trying to get all the secrets in the game, but is it worth it to do so? Well, I've danced around the issue long enough. This thing is the reason why Star Fox Zero got so critically mauled when it first came out. Star Fox Zero's controls definitely take a bit to get used to. You move with the left stick, shoot with the triggers, and do dodges and barrels with the right stick. Cool. Aiming is reserved for the gamepad, not a certain button or stick on the gamepad, but the whole freaking thing. By default, Zero is set up so that any movement of the gamepad moves the aiming reticle, but I set it to only moving when I shoot, which helps out a little. Still, aiming with the gamepad, while it does allow for some precision aiming, is really clunky with motion controls. Why can't I aim with the analog stick like I could in Star Fox 64? To be honest, I don't mind the linear rail shooting levels. There isn't much to divert your attention towards other than flying and shooting. When Zero tries to do anything but rail shooting, that's when the problems happen. Most of my problems come from having two perspectives. The footage on the TV shows the ship, and the gamepad shows where you're aiming. That means you're constantly looking between the screen trying to dodge lasers while you're looking at the gamepad trying to shoot the bad guys. This problem was worse for me in all range or free range mode, whatever it was called. At least in the rail shooting stages, I only had to focus on what was going on ahead of me. But in all range mode, I have to focus all around me, which is really annoying with this dual perspective setup. There is a lock-on button to show Fox where his target is, but it doesn't help much. A radar would have been really useful in this mode. Fox doesn't only have his R-Wing, he has a transforming R-Wing that can transform into a chicken walker. That sucks. Again, the problem comes from aiming. Having to move the gamepad around to aim is a pain in the butt. The Landmaster is here, but I didn't get any footage of it, but it isn't that bad. But the worst of the vehicles, the absolute worst part of this game, is the gyroplane thing that bogs down Zero's pace to a crawl. You constantly have to stop, pop, lock, and drop Little Rob onto the battlefield. Look at the screen to make sure he's pointing at the right direction is a chore. There are whole levels based around the gyroplane thing, and they are so slow and ultimately not fun to play. I do appreciate these puzzle levels, but in the kind of arcade-style game that Star Fox is, it just does not work.
Yeah, this is kind of bogus.
Star Fox Zero is really short. I cleared one playthrough in around 3 hours. There are lots of alternative levels to try, but unless you get over the controls, most players probably won't bother. The frame rate does drop at times, not to unplayable levels, but it does happen. It's a shame, as Platinum had the Wii U hardware really down with Bayonetta 2, and it's a shame that they couldn't transfer the same skills here to Star Fox Zero. And when you take out the controls, the bad guys are pretty slow and ineffective. They just throw a lot of them at you. And let's get down to it. Star Fox Zero is just Star Fox 64 in HD, but with crappy controls. And we already got a Star Fox 64 remake on the 3DS. Does Nintendo really have no idea what to do with the franchise? Man, I'm getting some cramps from this game. That's what you do to me, Nintendo, you give me cramps. So, to answer the question, does Star Fox Zero suck? A little bit. Okay, it's not the worst game on the Wii U, it's not even the worst Star Fox game, but it isn't that good. When you take out the controls, it's just Star Fox 64 again, and it's just a tech demo game for the Wii U. A tech demo for the Wii U that was already in its dying year by 2016. If this came out at launch, it would have been fantastic. But as a game in its dying year, it really disappointed. Another thing is, this is the second reboot the Star Fox series has had. The second reboot. That tells me that no one at Nintendo, no one at all of Nintendo has any idea what to do with Space Furries. I respect Nintendo too much to admit that. Come on, Nintendo, there's so much you can do with this franchise. I mean, you already tried something with, Star Fox Adventures and Assault. Not everyone loved those games, but at least they were different. So, I'll leave it at that. If I had to give this game a ranking, I would say I'd give it a 6 out of 10. If you find it for cheap, I mean, why not give it a whirl? But that means you have to hook up your Wii U again, so take it as you will. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, all that good stuff. It is really hot, and I'm going to go get my tan on while playing some Star Fox Zero. Anyway, later, everybody.